The path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. On behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
But Kamala, she cares deep down, and she will take on the giant corporations that are squeezing American families. Groceries, gas, housing, healthcare, taxes, abortion. Trust Donald Trump and J.D. Vance to look out for your family? I wouldn't trust them to move my couch.
We've all lived through a lot of history over the past few years. But what we do know is this. Through it all, your life won't stop. Right now, before the crisis, is when we get to choose. Why wouldn't we choose the leader who's tough, tested, and a total badass?
Everybody over here, say karma! Everybody over here, say la!
Together!
Where others push darkness, Kamala sees promise. Where others feel detachment, Kamala fosters connection. Where others want to drag us back to the past, my sister says, hold up now, we are not going back.
I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put country above party and self. And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors. And its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. But America, we are not going back. Let's fight for it. Let's get out there. Let's vote for it. And together, let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told. Thank you. God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you all.
All right. Well, the Democratic National Convention is over, finally. I'm just 4 days of it. I got to be honest, searching for clips, going through it, listening to all the speeches. I'm just going to say that it was a great convention. It was entertaining for the most part, but those the earlier speeches and just kind of like the downtime in between. Yeah, you know what? Fox definitely used that opportunity to be like, well, no one's here. Look, there's no excitement. What are you talking about? And then they just ran with that. Because even my mom was just like, what are you talking about? The DNC doesn't seem that raucous. You know, it just seems like it's kind of, you know, like the RNC. And then she saw, you know, the later speeches and she was just like, oh, okay. And all it took was, I was just like, hey, Mom, do me a favor. Just change the channel. Go to C-SPAN. Tell me what you see. Literally within a half hour, she was just like, oh, it's totally different coverage. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, did you notice how they turned the microphones down on the crowd too? And how they turned the microphones up on all of their broadcasters? Kind of weird, huh? Kind of weird that they're trying to spin a certain narrative about it. But my takeaways from night 4 were Elizabeth Warren, obviously dropping the couch bomb. That was hilarious. Whoever wrote that and then handed that to her probably had the cheekiest smile on his face, just like, this is going to be good. This is going to be a good one. Kamala's sister, actually, I thought that was one of the surprise speeches of the night. It was really, really touching. Moving, I guess is a better word, but bringing her great goddaughters out, or I think it was her goddaughter or her great nieces. I think, yeah, great nieces. My bad. To literally teach people how to say her name. I thought that was a brilliant tactic because it really does show how childish that like the Republicans are being. Again, Nancy Mace playing that game where she even said it right and then was like Kamala, and it's like, no, you're just being disrespectful. Again, Nuncy, would you be mad? Like I had that talk today where I don't understand these people who can go and talk with such vitriol and say, well, I don't understand this, and I don't think these people deserve these rights. And then you casually just say, well, I don't think you deserve these rights because you feel that way. And then immediately watch them go up in arms. So, yeah, it's kind of fun. Let's see. And Kamala's speech, oh, man, what can I say other than, number one, I'm very glad that it hasn't been the speech that she's been giving on the campaign trail. I have to admit, I was a little worried about it. I thought that, they're just, yeah, we'll use what works. It's like, oh, Lord, can we not? We can hit the points, we're not going back, the Donald Trump, prosecuting his type. But even that, it's gone viral enough that she needs to kind of put that in the back pocket and then start really addressing some of the media criticism, as much as I think that she's been playing it smart. I also love how the media is so angry about it, where they're just like, oh, she's not giving any interviews. Well, why would she? When you treated Joe Biden the way that you did, even with interviews, and then you kids glove Donald Trump and you give him maximum coverage, and it's all fluff piece. Like, it's all fluff coverage. Because even when you're outraged, you're essentially doing this coding where you're like, but it's okay. It's only Trump. And the second that, again, Joe Biden stammered, which, weird, a man with a stutter trying to, an 80-year-old man with a stutter. Again, I didn't think that he should have been... I understood the incumbency, but personally, when he said that he was seeking re-election, immediately I was like, oh boy. And then seeing the attacks go into July, and then also the debate. The debate did just exactly what we needed. I hate to say it. Like, we needed to see where he is at his worst, and you know what? It brought us into a better position. It brought the entire party into a better position because it was really weird. There was no unilateral party, despite what the Republicans keep saying about like this Democratic Socialist Party that, all the communists, they're all together. No, there's so much infighting in the Democratic Party. It's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Especially like when you just apply it to the term the left. Because that's what they were trying to do with these Palestinian protests. And on top of it, I'm starting to get a little conspiratorial about these protests, where I'm starting to wonder who's funding these. Because realistically, what kind of division does this make? What kind of debate are we having? And I get it. Trust me. I don't want anybody in Palestine losing their lives. And the fact of the matter is, you guys do this false equivalency where just because we're trying to see a way around this that honestly doesn't sacrifice our democracy just because of feels, yeah, that's literally what it is. Because you guys got the feels that this will teach the Democrats a lesson. And if the Democrats just learn that lesson, then we're gonna make that vote. We're gonna make that vote to not send our weapons. But here's the thing. That requires Congress. That requires a Senate. So that requires you as a U.S. citizen to participate in the election. So if you're going to withhold your vote for Kamala, fine. But the way that I'm hearing is they're just not going to vote. They're literally just like, we don't want to participate in a system that doesn't view us as people. And it's just like, well, I got news for you. Not participating makes you less of a person because you don't have, then you're not even using the voice that you've been given. So how is that a protest? I don't understand that. Also, have they not seen that maybe, just maybe, they have some dishonest actors in their groups, the ones that do actually say we support Hamas? You know, maybe the bad PR is also what's getting you on that one, because realistically, this goes back to the defund the police movement, where it's just like, oh, well, they said defund the police. And then here I am going, yeah, they did. Yes, they did. And then trying to explain, well, yeah, I don't really think that's a great idea. I'm not pro cop. Like I'm pro police reform. I would love to really have a strong reform where they go through special training to, de-escalate situations in a way better way. Also, like, to actually serve us, because it's weird how the second that the village does their budget, they're just like, well, that person was speeding in a zone that wasn't a speed trap last week, so time to get them because we need some money. And that's what every single person in America thinks. Why do you think that we all think that there's a quota system, even though every single police department in America has gone, we don't have a quota system? Please. We all know you have a freaking quota system. So stop. Stop. And also, start being consistent. Like, there's nothing more annoying than getting pulled over by a cop for looking at your phone, and he literally was next to you, and he pulls you over after typing in his little computer and sitting at the light for a minute. Yeah. Didn't happen to me. It happened to a friend, but still, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, these are the games we're playing. And then it's so funny because these are the people, like, this is what makes me scared about, like, politics going into policing, because if these guys are so, Trumpian and they're all thin blue line, us against them, then what? Then what? So you're going to attack free speech just because you see a bumper sticker that you don't like? You're going to go harder at somebody just because they have like or you're going to go lighter on somebody because they have a pro-cop sticker? I know the trick. You think that everybody with an FOP plate actually supports the police? Perhaps there was a person that had an FOP tag that used it specifically knowing that the cops wouldn't mess with them? Yeah. Anyway, went on a little tangent there. All right. Well, Kamala, her speech was really, really powerful. It also went longer than I thought it would because she's been keeping them like really tight and like just, 6 minutes maybe. Like, I think the longest one that I watched was like 20 minutes. And, half of that was just the same old stuff where it's like she's kind of just repeating this, But for everybody coming out and saying, well, she didn't talk about policy, like this in 4 days and no policy, what do you want? Like, what exactly do you want? Because you guys don't hold Donald Trump to that. Donald Trump's policies are laid out in 2025, in the Project 2025. So is that the barometer that we're measuring this on? Is, oh, well, she needs her own 2025. She needs a very ambitious project to just change the entire system. And then, get this, when she does, and she actually starts talking about some policy, like, I don't know, 28% tax increase on the rich, giving a $25,000 tax incentive to first-time home buyers, and then putting caps on corruption and price gouging. You know what they said immediately? These same people that literally you could probably go look at some of the clips, and they were probably talking about inflation maybe 10 minutes before that report. immediately, inflation wasn't the number one issue anymore. You know what it was? Communism. Because this is communism, apparently. This is taking away the rights of the corporations to price gouge. Oh, weird how they get so upset when we start talking about practical things that can help us as a society. Oh my lord, weird how these mouthpieces that have your back, they got your back, they love the Republicans, they love the working man, and then union bust, and literally laugh about it. I mean, Elon Musk and Donald Trump laughing about union busting. Good job. Seriously, good job. I'm very happy that at least we're not doing the fake thing, because, like, you remember when Donald Trump paid non-union members to pretend they were union members for one of his rallies? I remember, and it was quite funny when it was reported that none of them were union members. So here he's sitting going, I'm talking to the UAW. The United Auto Workers love me. They love Trump. They love Trump. The unions love Trump. Yes, because what have you done? What did you do for the manufacturing sector in America? Oh, nothing. That's right. And then we always go to the border. It's, again, the border every 4 years. Every freaking 4 years, we just have to talk about the border. And it's only every 4 years, because the second that somebody gets elected, notice how nobody really cares anymore. The only people that care are conservative commentators that are trying to keep you ready for that next 4-year cycle. And also, it's like you guys take the information that you get and then disingenuously just go, well, it doesn't fit my confirmation bias, so I'm not going to accept it. Like the 7 million immigrants that are consistently being arrested at the border. The fact that Joe Biden, not Donald Trump, signed an executive order that closes the border after a certain amount of people start coming through. The thing is, that number is always being hit. So the border I mean, it's pretty much closed just through executive action. They have to go through more loops. So you're going to just say, well, it's their fault that there's this increase in immigration. It has nothing. Geopolitics apparently don't exist in your realm, where there are sovereign countries that make their own decisions, and based on those decisions, people want to leave. Everything is just controlled by America, but it's only the people you don't like. It's only the Democrats, those evil Democrats. They're conspiring with China. They're conspiring with Nicaragua. They're conspiring with Argentina and Colombia to send us all the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst are coming here, because apparently the ganglands that those places have become, these gangsters just want to leave. And I'm sorry, but causation correlation, if the gangsters leave, doesn't that mean that there isn't as much crime in said country, so there's not as much migration? So, I don't know, through my math, do we actually just accept all the real bad ones? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's also super disingenuous. Nobody actually cares about this stuff. Nobody actually thinks that they're at danger of a Mexican immigrant coming in and bursting into their homes with a gun and just saying, give me your house. You know, kind of like an occupation, kind of like the West Bank. It's almost like you should care. Sorry. But realistically, that's what it is. It's this boogeyman. Like, it's the right-wing boogeyman. The right-wing boogeyman has always been a person of color coming into your home and taking your wife, forcing them to do something, and taking your kids, trafficking it's always the big, bad brown people. It's always that. No, and like, this is why my generation looks at it the way we do, because it is just so insanely mask off at this point, where we're just like, yeah, man, like, we get it. You're insecure about your race, which is kind of funny in a way, because it does play into that whole, like, white lameness thing. Recently, I just had that where I'm talking about the C word because, I don't want to get in trouble, but C. Ecker. Yeah, how I'm not offended by that in the slightest. You know, yeah, I'm white and salty. Oh, when you get soft, when you get wet. Oh, wait, is that what it is? Did I lose? Did I lose the thread on that one? Ugh, it's just so, and it's so insane that we even listen to these people where they're just like reverse racism. Oh my gosh, it's reverse racism. How dare you be racist against? It's just okay to be racist against white people. Like, it was so weird how quickly the white suburbanite just embraced victimhood, where they're just like, oh, now we're the victims. You called me a racist because I said something that was racist. How dare you? Sorry. We do live in a ridiculous world. But, ridiculous world with ridiculous people who apparently don't put much thought past, oh, I don't like that person. I don't like that person. Get him out of here. Get him out. I don't agree with him. And it's always the best and brightest amongst us that have these glowing opinions. It's always the ones that are definitely emotionally stable men. Even, they're emotionally stable women. Man, like, they really do deserve each other in that realm, because that it's like, nothing makes me happier than seeing a conservative woman divorcing a conservative man going, I didn't know he was a chauvinist. 2024 karma's fun. But, let's see. Anything else that I want to bring up about this DNC? Because, again, she did just lay out the speech. She laid out as much. I understand what policy, discussion is, but when you're talking the policy numbers, people just check out. Americans, why do you think Trump is so successful? It's because he's an idiot that just goes, immigration, I'll take care of it. Inflation, I'll take care of it. And why do you think he's graded on a curve? When he just says, inflation, whatever, I'll take care of it. Just elect me, I'll take care of it. And the news doesn't go, well, how come Donald Trump's not talking about policy? How come he's not laying out his economic policies? Not one of them. And I'm talking about legacy media, CNN. I'm talking even MSNBC has a lot of people that just brush it over. Even MSNBC, I do appreciate some of their coverage. And even they have started to just be like, no. Like, they're not just allowing it. MSNBC does seem like the one network that finally just went, we don't want him back. We'd prefer to have low ratings than have that man in charge again. But, it's weird to have some kind of moral consistency as a human. That's very odd, especially in, that large of a media atmosphere. But what do I know? I'm literally doing this. I am doing this from a computer in my basement. So I think that I do have more freedom, and I do appreciate it. So I don't have to worry about some, schmuck CEO saying, you can't say that, you're fired. Okay. Whatever, man. It's the same as the guys in the comments where it's just like, all right, you're trying to tear me down. Well, thank you for the comment. Although I have noticed that, if you do the removal of the comment, it doesn't remove it from my side, so I still get that comment. So, not sure if you guys knew that, but if you've ever taken a look at YouTube analytics, you might have known. But yeah, I don't know why I just let you in on that little secret. But I mean, if you guys like Kamala's speech, let me know. Let me know what you liked specifically, and if she can go through policy, what's a good way of doing it? Because I really do think that the American public has too short of an attention span to really latch onto any of these things. I mean, they're not even talking about the $2,500 or $25,000. It's not $2,500. It's $25,000 for first-time home buyers provided by the government. And immediately they're like, well, where's that coming from? I'm like, can we stop with that? The dark budget being $7 trillion. We never talk about that. So I'm really done with the disingenuousness of our Congress being like, well, our budget doesn't allow for this, but it allows for a bunch of dark money to be hidden and stolen through the Pentagon. Don't go looking for it. Yeah, what happened to that $3 billion from right before COVID? And then Republicans have the nerve to bring up the deficit? Wow. Especially talking like, I've been having this conversation with some people in my life where they're talking about the deficit, and they truly think it's run like a household income where it's or a household debt, where it's just like the defaulting on the debt. They don't understand how it works. They don't understand who pays into us and then who we pay into, and are like the different incentives and bonds that go into it. No nuance, no nothing, no even looking into it. Just, I heard on the news that this is happening. Therefore, I think this is bad. So, like the deficit, where they're like, I hear big number in deficit. They say we default. What? If we default, then China's done too. Because, like, they're the first ones to be like, well, then China's going to call in our debt. It's like, let them. Like, again, I don't fully know how it works because I at least tried to read it and contemplate it or comprehend it. And I'm like, never been much of a math guy. So try it. But I got enough of it. I think that's all of us, like whoever, went through any education, like later in life where you're just like, says I really need to know this, but I think I got it. I think I got enough of it. Then you get that C- and you're just like, yes. Overachiever I am. Let's see. Anything else? I mean, I'm being completely realistic where the vibe after last night was the exact same vibe I got from Barack Obama when he closed out the DNC and won. I think that the media is underreporting about the excitement, and I think that they're also kind of burying some of the polls that put Kamala up. I've noticed that even legacy media is doing that, where they want this to be neck and neck, because the more it swings towards Kamala, the more complacent people do get, which is bad. I'll be the first one to say that. But also, the more complacent they get, the less they're going to pay attention. So also, with that being the last day of the DNC, the media did kind of have that moment where they're all tired. Anybody that was there is probably like asleep right now, and they're not waking up for the next day, which don't blame them. Just covering what I covered was exhausting. But I just have this feeling that they're going to come at it with either renewed vigor for her, and we're going to start seeing more fair and balanced coverage, or it's going to get even worse, and it's going to be more slanted towards Trump because they really want to give him a push so he is competitive. Because right now, as it stands, I don't think he's as competitive as they're making him out to be. This is not 2016. This is not the Hillary Clinton situation. She is much more likable than Hillary Clinton. She has much more of a platform than Hillary Clinton. And on top of it, she has pretty much half of an incumbency. So if she can do something with Biden right near the election that just it markedly improves the economy, that right there will win them the election. But they also need to start looking at like the executive actions that Joe Biden can take in the last days of his presidency to help her, and do it, because it really does kind of get sickening where you hear, well, when I'm president, I'll do such and such, and day one, I'll do such and such. From her specifically, when you're like, well, we have the presidency. What are we doing? And you are his VP. And one of the talking points that the right has been using is how just useless you have been as a VP, except, as a border czar. She's been super useless as a border czar, even though she's not a freaking border czar. Like, when you find out what she was actually tasked to do, you were like, that's kind of boring, but whatever. Alrighty, well, I think that's really all I got to say about it. I enjoyed the speech. I can't wait to see where this election goes. I think we have 73 days until the actual election, so it'll be 73 days of torture but fun if you look at it the way I do, where you're like, you know what, I kind of thrive off this energy a little bit. But all right, well, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, comment. As far as subscriptions, I am pushing for 1,000, and I am growing pretty fast for getting to those numbers. So, realistically, if you do like my content, please leave the like and definitely subscribe. Yeah, and actually, you know what? I will take some advice. If you want to give me some advice, you can comment, or my email is also linked in the description below. I would definitely take some pointers, but also if you're just going to be a dick, then you know what? Good on you. I hope that you find happiness in life and be less of a dick, because yeah, being a dick's not fun. Is it? Because like, do you really get a lot of that? Like, do you get anything out of that? No. I tried and I was just miserable all the time. So why you gotta be mean, or why you gotta be mean? Just be nice. All right, sorry. All right, I'll see you guys later.